Alright, so a quick little unplanned video. I just went and set up a new inspection machine, New York State vehicle inspection machine for one of my mechanic customers, and he gave me his old one to recycle. And the reason why this one is video worthy is this actually left Dell with Ubuntu on it. New York State license thing. And yeah, you can see from the service tag, this did indeed leave Dell's factory with Ubuntu and a whole bunch of custom software for New York State. Now, this machine, when it was sold in 2013, New York State charges their licensed inspectors, so private mechanics that pay the state for the privilege to charge you $21 to go through your vehicle for 45 minutes and inspect it. So they're losing money just for the privilege to do inspections when you figure what they normally make an hour. Then they have to buy the license. And then this specific computer in 2013 was $3,500, right? And the only thing missing from what you see here is their e-waste keyboard and mouse, an ODB sensor, not even a wireless one, and a laser printer. And all of that will cost you a measly $3,500. This has a single core, dual thread, Intel Celeron, 4 gigabytes of RAM, custom Ubuntu image. For the ODB sensor, you see they added the serial port. On the new ones, they're mini, like small form factor, 1 liter Optiplexes. So all this is on like a USB dock. But yeah. So for comparison, the new models cost you anywhere from $3,500 to $5,000, depending on whether or not you just do regular vehicles or you can do diesel and heavy equipment. Those ones, again, $35,000 to $5,000. They have an i3 12th gen with 8 gigs of RAM, 120 gig SSD, the same exact crappy monitor, the same exact crappy keyboard and mouse, the same exact crappy barcode scanner. It just has a better ODB sensor and a better laser printer. Oh, and the new one also has the inspection stickers now come. So it's actually printed at the time of creation. So yeah, New York State. They're overpriced computers and they're overpriced licenses. All right, now Jeffy showed up with coffee and an iPhone that wasn't charging. I fixed the iPhone charging issue because that's now asking for a charge. So he gets to go and blow that out with my air compressor. Yay! The man is a magician on his knees, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, so Jeffy got that pretty damn clean. I happen to have an OEM SATA adapter, 2.5 inch, 3.5 inch adapter for these Dells. And there is a single core dual thread, so 1 core, 2 threads, and only 4 gigabytes of RAM. Now I could go ahead and put more memory in it. I could drop in an i5 that I have because I have a whole bunch of these machines lying around. But instead, we're going to go ahead and install Ubuntu and leave it as is. Ubuntu was what was originally on it, but it's aged a little bit too much for the full-fledged Ubuntu right now. So we will load Ubuntu on here and get this guy. Oh, look at that. Even adds it to the UEFI thing. The UEFI splash screen. Alright. Jeffy and I broke to have some lunch. It's all cleaned up. Ubuntu is installed. We did have a setback with my rig. My RGB fan's gone. We have a snowman on there now because while we were doing all this and filming, the fan on this RGB cooler. I have a 5800 X3D, but this is actually a stock cooler from a 3900X. Because when Jeffy did his build, he wanted liquid cooler, so I had his old air cooler on my 5800 X3D, and it decided to die today. So luckily I had that snowman on hand, but I mean, it keeps it fine. It doesn't thermal throttle. It keeps it under 80 degrees, like, you know, full load with a Cinebench R25 burning. But I don't have my RGB. But onto this. This guy is all set up. See how it goes. We got Chrome installed because you literally get a totally different web experience. Like, YouTube loads differently. Everything works differently with Firefox. So we immediately installed Chrome. And it actually, for a single core, dual threaded processor running Ubuntu, it's actually doing alright. This is only in 1333 by 768 monitors, so defaults to 720. But we don't get any drop frames. We do get some drop frames at 1080 when you transition between full screen and not. But other than that, it actually is very usable. If I was going to use this every day, I would probably replace the single core Celeron with an i5 and put in another 4 gigs of RAM, but just because it happened to have Ubuntu on it, I wanted to try and get it restored as best we could, because since we can't put New York State's, you know, proprietary software on here. But we got a flavor of Ubuntu on here, a modern flavor. It's actually shipped with version 12 of Ubuntu, and this version of Lubuntu is based on version 24. So we've definitely stepped up as far as age here, but software version. But this is all set. I got that SSD in there. If you're curious what happens to the old drive, the old drive's down here. It gets 3 passes, low level format, so I know there's 0 chance of getting data off it, and then I still physically destroy the drive. Well, that's it for this low quality video. We'll see you guys in the next one.